Hello everyone and welcome to Stan the Wine Man TV. I am your host, Stan Rattan, and this is the Blue Collar Wine Show where I help you spend your wine dollars wisely. Barnard Griffin is my Winery of the Year, well basically for 2021. I always put 2020 because I do it at the end of the year, but really 2021. So next year, at the end of this year, I'll pick another Winery of the Year, and it'll be the Winery of the Year for 2022 because I am going to feature Barnard Griffin wines throughout the year and talk about this winery and why it became my Winery of the Year. It's a responsibility I take quite seriously. Before I picked that Winery of the Year, I've tasted a lot of Rob's wines. Rob Griffin, been around since 1983. I don't know if many of you remember the Tulip label, Barnard Griffin Tulip label. Well, a few years ago, Rob changed to a different label from the Tulip label, and those are his signature wines. We're going to look at his reserve wines. And the reason I'm going to do that to start off right away is because I think that Rob's reserve wines really represent what Rob can do as a winemaker. His signature wines are great. They're great values. They all roll under 17 bucks, which is great. But his reserve wines, I believe, represent even a greater value because a lot of wineries in Washington State, and there's over 1,000 now, or at least close to 1,000, charge this price for their regular wines, and then you get in their reserves and we're talking big bucks. Whereas Rob has always been very reasonable in his pricing. You know, they're good. I think it's fair pricing. I think it's equal to the value of the wines. He could probably charge more if he wanted, but I think Rob's really good at finding that price point that is really affordable for those people that want to try his wine. So we're going to get started right away with the Barnard Griffin 2016 Grenache. And this is $38. It's Columbia Valley Fruit, Lonesome Spring Ranch Vineyard, 38 bucks. There you go. Okay. So Rob has been making wine in Washington for a long, long time. He worked for Preston a long time ago. I don't know if any of you remember Preston Winery, but that's a long time ago, and we'll talk a little bit more about his career in the Washington wine world. But I just wanted to reserve it to review his wines and talk about the value that they represent. Good color on this one. Now, but they are. Let's see what we get on those. Almost like a red flower component. Licorice for sure. Almost like a cross between strawberry, red flowers, and licorice, and there's just a touch, just a pinch of cranberry in there. Let's see what we get on the palate. Good acidity, which makes this fantastic food wine. I would love to have this with lamb. It would be so good. Got a little touch of wine on my glasses. Yeah, lamb would be really good with this. A little spice on the back end. So you get that strawberry cranberry thing going on, but it's not tart at all. Good balance, good structure. What I really like about this is the red flower notes really shine on this wine, and it's nicely integrated with the acidity, the strawberry, just a touch of cranberry. I'm getting a little bit of a raspberry in there as well. So good complexity. It's light like a Grenache should be. This could go with salmon. Just saying. Definitely lamb. Yeah, beautiful wine. Not everybody's going to like it. I mean, this is not a fruit bomb. This is the way Grenache should be. And I like that spice on the back end. Really, that is what Grenache is all about in my book. Grenache is about spice. That's when I taste a Grenache. I'm looking for spice, and it's nice when it shows up. I'm also getting a little bit of that licorice element on the back end, along with a little bit of tobacco. Tobacco, you know how much I like tobacco. Just nicely built, good finesse, nice wine. I'm going to go B plus, A minus on that. I think it's a great Grenache. $38 for his reserve. Now that's a good value. Let's move on. This one cracks me up. Barnard Griffin Côte d'Arabe, a lusty red from Lonesome Spring Ranch Vineyard, Columbia Valley. This also rolls in at $38. I'll put the link to his website. These are only available from the winery on the website. This is 54% Grenache, 14% Mourvedre, 14% Durif, which is Petite. Durif is Petite Syrah. And I had to think about that. 3% Counoise and 3% Cinsault. So Petite Syrah is also called Durif, and he uses that name because, you know, Rob's a little bit of a brainium. He likes doing that sort of thing. I just wish he'd put the blend on something like his Rob's Red Blend in the signature line. $38. Look at the color on this. He's obviously going for a Rhone-style red, Côte d'Arabe instead of Côte de Rhone. Rob's got a great sense of humor. I'll put the link up to my interview I did with him a few months ago. I wasn't sure yet if I was where my Winery of the Year was. I had a couple of ideas for that, but then I had went over there to the winery and did the interview, and it's up now. And I will put the link to that, also the link to the website if you want to buy any of these wines. Again, a lot of licorice. A little darker fruits coming through on this one. You get a little raspberry blueberry action. A little bit of earthiness too. I get a little combination of a little dirt and beauty bark. And there's that nice red flower component that comes through, probably from the vineyard. Let's see what we get on the palate. Nope. Really a little darker than the Grenache. Yes, darker than the Grenache. Red flowers all day. That beauty bark comes through on the backside. Good balance. I get blueberry, raspberry, red flowers, good acidity. This again is a food wine. If you're doing a stew, if you're doing some sort of a meat dish, if you're grilling steaks, this would be perfect. Rob is obviously making these wines to go with food. And I like that. I respect that. He's not making fruit bombs, you know, sit back and have a party and open it up and everybody's going to love it. He's making wines that go with a meal, and that's important to know. When I'm reviewing these wines, when I look at them, I say, okay, it's not a fruit bomb, but it is very well built, good structure. I get that kind of bark, earth component on the backside with a kiss of tobacco, which is really cool. The licorice really hits up on the mid palate, and also the tobacco comes through. And the finish was that combination of blueberry, raspberry, a little bit of a lot of red flower, lots of red flowers on this one. Nice high tone, mouth watering. I like it. I'm going to go B plus, A minus on that as well. Let's move on. The Barnard Griffin, 2014. What did I say the Côte d'Arabe was? 2016 as well. This rolls in at the Reserve Cab Sauv, Columbia Valley. This rolls in at $45. Now this one you can get at a store. I believe Columbia Reps is a distributor in Washington State for Barnard Griffin wines, and they do distribute the Reserve Cab. I don't think it's on his website because of that. A lot darker than all of them. There you go. See what we get on the nose. Currants all day, and I get just a little hit of In the back side of this, I just get a little hit of like rubber tire, like those little rubber tires that are in a bicycle wheel. And violets. I love the violets on the nose. Currants, violets, little, just a pinch of that rubber tire inside a bicycle wheel. Also getting a little bit of bark action on this one. Let's see what we get on the palate. Solid cab. The violets come through big time. Currants. Now this has got good acidity as well. The thing I like about these wines is because of that acidity, because of the tannins, because of the fruit, you are going to be able to age these babies easily 7 to 10 years. Easily. And all those elements will kind of morph and mold together. They'll start getting to know each other a little bit better, and you'll have this beautiful silky wine where the acidity is not quite as prominent, but is more integrated into the fruit and the tannins. The tannins are structured, they're approachable, they have a little bit of grit to them, a tiny hit of grit. Those currants, violets, red flowers, the purple and red flowers on this one. Tobacco hits on the back side of this. And there's also that cranberry-esque thing coming through. Again, not tart, just that, cranberry, almost like a pomegranate. I would go more pomegranate than cranberry. Pomegranate. Right on the back end, you get a little touch of licorice, a little bit of earth and bark. Nicely put together. Again, a real solid food wine, but this one is the closest to what I would say you could pop it, pour it for your friends, and they would like it. Absolutely. Again, $45. There's some reserve cabs I know in the state of Washington that will go easily $60 to $90. And this has a real, to me, Sans Pencil Lead has a lot of Bordeaux type characteristics to it. Once again, 7 to 10 years. It could go past 10 years aging. I'm going to go straight up A on that. I think it's a solid cab. These are all really close to A minus, B plus, A minus. Great score. This is the reason I picked Barnard Griffin as my Winery of the Year, and I'll talk about it again. It's really my Winery of the Year for 2021. And I'll put a link to my PI blog website where I put this as my Winery of the Year, and just leave the 2020 on, put 2021, because I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to move forward because I want to talk about these wines throughout the year. We'll talk about their signature wines. We'll do some more reserves. But Rob Griffin and crew deserve the designation as Winery of the Year for the value. QPR, quality to price ratio, is great, and none of these wines would disappoint anybody. But remember, Rob is thinking food and wine. I know he thinks that. He has a restaurant at his winery. He's a big food guy and wine, and he loves to cook, and his wines show that relationship to food. He wants them to be in concert with them being not contradicting it with big fat fruit. There you go. Thanks for taking a little time out of your day. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'm getting a lot of support. I really like it. Thank you very much. You keep watching, and I'll keep helping you spend your wine dollars wisely.